Thinking of this, the man and the knife rushed out like lightning. The man was in the air, and with a clang sound, the great Prajna light passed through the air like a white streak. Chen Xiaoxiao and Peng Li knew they were exposed and shouted, "Be careful!" The two had been ready for a fight, so their abilities were activated instantly. Two white lights appeared in Peng Li's hands and connected to Chen Xiaoxiao's body. Her ability is Priest, which can enhance Chen Xiaoxiao's strength, speed, defend, and quickly heal all her non-fatal injuries. Chen Xiaoxiao stood in front of her, and the ability of the strengthening system blessed her physique. Her two well-trained long legs kicked the ground, and a circle of blizzard spread from under her feet, quickly expanding in a circle towards the surrounding area. At the same time, the bottom of the white boots on her feet popped out a long blade with a clang. Facing Nobunaga's simple and extremely fast knife, she performed Brazilian war dance and blocked it with the blade of her right foot. The blades collided, and the huge force directly bounced Chen Xiaoxiao out. But she landed gracefully in midair and then danced nimbly on the snow. Nobunaga stared at his feet, and the ground had been frozen into a huge ice rink by her. And she began to turn quickly along Nobunaga in her ice skates, looking for the right time to attack. "Oh?" Nobunaga just said this lightly. He did not try to catch Chen Xiaoxiao's trace, and even slowly closed his eyes in front of the two of them. A field with a radius of 50 meters and centered on him began to appear. This is one of his abilities, Tianyuan. With himself as the center, sitting in the center of the chessboard within a radius of 50 meters, it is the range of his sword. Chen Xiaoxiao danced quickly on the ice. She was looking for Nobunaga's flaw. But in the process, she was surprised to find that Nobunaga, who was in a sword-drawing posture, did not have any flaws at all. In addition, there were Nanako Agatsuma and Takashi Takizawa next to her, which made Chen Xiaoxiao completely unable to concentrate. At the moment when she was confused, Nobunaga caught the hesitation of her movement. No one saw clearly how his right hand drew the sword. Only a white streak passed through the air, and where the blade passed, Chen Xiaoxiao's leaping body was broken. Her waist was neatly cut open, and even the cuts on the muscles and intestines were as smooth as a mirror. Because the knife was too fast, she didn't even have time to feel the pain. Xiaoxiao stood on the ground with a pale face and staggered. Just now, the blood in her body turned cold. The cut on her lower abdomen was still there, and a circular bloodline slowly flowed down along the snow-white skin. It was like something that was barely spliced together, making people worry that if they moved a little, the upper half of the body would fall off. Peng Li said nervously, "Don't move anymore. Your injury is too serious. It will take time to heal you." But both of them knew that they didn't have time. Now, it was a dead end. "What? It turned out to be a small fish." Nobunaga put away his long sword with a dull look on his face. He was so disappointed. He originally thought that he would encounter elites this time, but who would have thought that they were so weak? They were not even worthy of him using his sword. "Hurry up and get rid of them," said Nanako Agatsuma. "Don't worry." Nobunaga raised his head and looked into the distance. "Maybe the real opponent has just appeared." The mist rolled and several figures slowly walked out. Yes, very sharp intuition. The leading man showed an evil smile on his face. He tilted his head and looked at Nobunaga Miyamoto, especially the samurai sword in his hand. "What era is it? Are you still playing samurai games here?" Peng Li and Chen Xiaoxiao saw them as if they saw a savior and shouted excitedly, "You are finally here!" The three people who came were members of the God Squad. The leading man also held a knife in his hand, but it was a very big knife, heavy like a black door panel. There was a mysterious spell tattooed on his face, which looked extremely weird and gave people a feeling of being unfathomable. At this time, Zhang Yi and others also arrived here. Originally, Zhang Yi wanted Chen Xiaoxiao and Peng Li to lead out the eclipse moon, and then he would take action to solve it. But he didn't expect that this time the people from the God Squad arrived first. Xiao Tian, a member of the God team, glanced at Zhang Yi and said in a cold tone, "You are wasting too much time, so the higher-ups ordered us to take over the battlefield. Just in time, you can take these two useless women away, then leave here immediately. The next battle is no longer something that a person of your level can intervene in." Liang Yue didn't say anything after hearing this, but just glanced at Zhang Yi. The corners of Zhang Yi's mouth curled up slightly. He spread his hands. "Since the professionals are here, there is no need for us to stay here. Retreat!" After saying that, he looked at Chen Xiaoxiao and Peng Li, and his eyes naturally fell on the terrible wound on Chen Xiaoxiao's waist. "Can you still walk?" Chen Xiaoxiao had been holding on just now. After all, she was cut in half, and it would take a long time to recover. She pursed her lips and was a little embarrassed to look at Zhang Yi. At this moment, she regretted her blind decision. Zhang Yi's caution was justified. They all underestimated Eclipse's strength. Zhang Yi winked at Flower, and Flower came to Chen Xiaoxiao and gently lay down. Peng Li quickly helped Chen Xiaoxiao onto Flower's back, and her hands never stopped healing Chen Xiaoxiao's wounds. Zhang Yi didn't stay here to delay the gods' fight, and immediately took his men away. After walking for a long time, he heard Chen Xiaoxiao's weak voice. "Zhang Yi, thank you." Zhang Yi glanced at her. "No need to thank me, it was just a convenience." Chen Xiaoxiao's face was a little red, partly because of internal injuries and partly because of shame. Peng Li sighed with a sense of loss. "We came here to carry out this mission, and originally thought that we could make some contributions, but who would have thought that it would become a joke?" The huge gap in strength made them realize the reality. But they couldn't be blamed for all this, after all. It was their first time to fight against Eclipse. Back then, he was rampant in his own city. However, Liang Yue leaned close to Zhang Yi's ear and whispered, "Why didn't you take action just now? With your strength, it shouldn't be a big problem to deal with the three of them?" Zhang Yi looked at her and asked, "Do you know what the other party's strength is?" Liang Yue was stunned for a moment, then said, "No matter how strong they can't be stronger than you, right? You are the one who can even kill Yuan Kongye." Zhang Yi said, "That's because I planned for a long time in advance, collected a huge amount of intelligence, and drove many people to be my pawns, and finally won with difficulty. Remember, never underestimate any opponent. Don't judge your opponent based on instinct, and fight with others blindly and confidently. The purpose of our coming here is out of the only remaining morality in our hearts. It's not to show off or get any mission points. Now that the God Squad has taken action, let them fight to the death." Liang Yue looked at Zhang Yi's resolute and lazy profile and couldn't help laughing. "I really can't see through you anymore." Zhang Yi said, "You don't need to see through, just follow me in action." When they left, Nobunaga and the other two didn't care at all. In their opinion, these people were just minions, and the members of the God team in front of them were the real opponents. But at this moment, the voice of 40 Minoza Go came into the minds of Nobunaga and the other two. "Nobunaga, Ryuze, Nanako, are you three okay? Please reply." Nobunaga and the other two looked at each other and felt puzzled, because 40 Minoza Go's voice was very anxious, as if something big had happened. Nobunaga responded, "We are fine. What happened?" After getting Nobunaga's response, 40 Minoza Go breathed a sigh of relief. Mayumi Takeuchi. He looked at Mayumi Takeuchi, who was holding her head with her hands not far away, with a look of confusion and fear on her face, and slowly said to the three people, "Just now, the three of you disappeared in Mayumi's divination. Mayumi Takeuchi, the shrine maiden of the Eclipse Group and the 37th generation descendant of the Takeuchi family, was in deep self-doubt at this moment, because her most proud ability, the Takeuchi Amaki, had just lost its effect. It was as if something had forcibly erased her ability to predict. Therefore, Jin Huin immediately asked Shijimanobu Satoru and Nobunaga to contact each other. Shijimanobu Satoru conveyed to Huin that they were safe. "No, there must be something covering my eyes in that place," said Mayumi Takeuchi. "It makes me unable to see clearly. Really, I can't see clearly." The biggest trump card of the Eclipse Group was not Jin Huin, nor was it Okokai Engine or Jinguji Seiichiro and Tsukamoto Nobunaga. Someone is blocking Mayumi Takeuchi's ability.